This is Ben of Midwest Development Group, and this is MWDG Engagements. Today I'm going to take it back to October 2018 to cover some situations we encountered at the former Sheboygan Falls Asylum. To see this entire op from start to finish, check out our video titled Mayhem. This episode takes place during the afternoon phase of the op. I'll take you through our journey to the rooftop, how our squad became divided while holding our objective, and our eventual reunion as we execute a pincer attack within the confines of the building's central stairwell.
Objective rooftop to get up the third floor. I think this is blocked like it was last time.
Our orders as the afternoon phase kicked off were to take the roof as quickly as possible and hold it at all costs. This would allow our faction to perform operations around the grounds of the asylum without enemy harassment from the rooftop.
Let's go.
The asylum roof only has one access point, which is above the central stairwell. We rushed to the building and encountered the enemy in the center of the second floor. We need to reach the third floor, so we shoot on the move to advance to the side staircase. There is too much pressure coming from multiple angles in the hall, so we do not make a play for the central staircase from this position.
I got security down. Go.
Crossing.
The team uses fire and grenades to cover the crossing to the staircase. Trevor covers the move and falls back once the team has left the hall.
Pull left.
We reach the third floor, and Nate hits several enemies in the hall. The squad splits to fight from both sides of the doorway as we work to suppress our opponents. We are not yet in a position to move as the opposition is shooting from both sides of the double doors and from the central staircase on the right. After taking several grenades and continued fire from our opponents, we revive all squad members and prepare to move in the hallway.
Guys, flood both sides simultaneously. Let's just move.
We flood through the doors, firing to cover our advance. 4 of us were hit in the move, and the other 5 reached the stairwell. The hallway is still hot, so we are not able to move back and retrieve our guys. We also had to deal with the rooftop and the stairs, so we were spread incredibly thin.
I need someone on me. 3 doors we gotta go through.
You're fine. You're behind cover. We gotta help our boys.
Players from another squad revive the other element, so they support from the doorway as contact in the hall escalates. The enemy brought up reinforcements, and the added pressure prevented us from reuniting the squad.
That's 2 bandages?
Yeah, that's 2.
You did it? Yeah, you did it.
You hold the stairwell, whatever happens.
Nate, grab him.
Trevor, this is Bauer. We're going to need you to put heavy fire on that doorway so we can move up to you. Over.
So that door is still hot, you're saying? To your right. Yell up to Blake.
Yeah.
Nate and Trevor retrieve me from the stairs, but Trevor takes his final hit.
Trevor just say hit?
Yeah, he did.
A grenade forces Nate back up the stairs. Only Grant and Chris remain in the fight on the third floor. The others with them have used all their hits.
They just took it. Trevor's dead.
At this point, there are too many hostiles between the 2 elements.
Down the hallway. Hit!
The remaining 4 dev members dig in to hold the rooftop, while the other 5 in the squad return to the FOB to respawn. Nate, Hunter, Blake, and myself. Just 4 of us on the roof against whatever the opposition could send at us. Under normal circumstances, we would have returned to the FOB with the team so we could all set out in force, but we knew that if we left, the enemy team would use the roof to harass our faction on the ground, and it would be incredibly difficult to retake because of the numbers they had in the building.
We're holding the shit until we die.
Yeah, I know.
We had used up almost all of our pyro just taking the stairwell, and ammo reserves were not going to allow us to repulse many dedicated pushes. To hold the position, we covered the entrance from multiple angles and made them pay for every attempt to advance on us. Hitting the point man hard often discouraged the rest of the element trying to push, so we did not have to burn further ammo hitting more of the enemy.
Thank you.
You up?
Yep.
Good shit.
We also kept our opponents guessing by coming down the stairs to shoot from the landing. This move often caught them off guard as they did not expect us to push back. Whenever we did this, it caused them to burn more time preparing to hit us again. These tactics would allow us to keep the stairwell for nearly 2 hours.
Got them both.
Nice, sit down.
Our fire team just respawned. We have another fire team on the roof.
You gotta link back up with them.
We do.
With the 4 of us on the rooftop, the remaining 5 dev members worked to move through the asylum to rejoin us. If the squad could reform up top, it would allow us to fight from the roof itself and harass the enemy team. The 4 members up there were only able to occasionally shoot at hostiles on the ground because it was too important to keep our manpower focused on holding the stairs and preventing the enemy from taking it from us.
So, how are we gonna make it to that roof?
So try to take that boiler room and then work underneath the tunnel.
Grant, Trevor, Chris, Grant, and Jarrett had already returned from an unsuccessful attempt to breach the building. The asylum itself was infested with the enemy, who were heavily guarding every entrance. After discussing their options with Henry, the faction leader, they decided to enter the boiler room and use a service tunnel to infill the basement of the asylum. After moving through the tunnel, they reach a set of doors in the asylum basement and take contact with dug-in opponents. They lay down sustained fire to suppress the enemy and use pyro to flush them out.
Can I duck in, right? Yeah, stairs.
After a long struggle, they have the upper hand in the engagement and begin moving to the stairwell. This strategy allowed the element to transition from the tunnel to the first floor without taking any hits. After reaching the first floor, they slowly begin moving through the building unseen. They maneuver to the kitchen, and Grant S. dispatches several unaware hostile players. He fights from the threshold to slowly dissect the enemy element rather than having the whole fire team flood into the room and risk being discovered by more enemies in the area during a firefight. With the kitchen clear, the team moves through to the main hallway. After punching across, they are now directly below the fire team on the roof, 3 stories above. The fire team moves to the second floor and remains unnoticed. Probing the third floor, they discover an enemy squad on the landing who are preparing another assault on the roof. Grant S. is hit in the brief contact, so they throw a grenade to force the enemy back. They maintain security up the stairs as they try to reach the rooftop element on the radio.
There is contact on the stairwell, 3rd floor. We are on the 2nd, trying to work our way up. Over.
So you are on the 2nd floor by the elevator, center stairwell.
Second floor. We have NFA smashed between us. We need you to push down and eliminate them. Over.
Okay, we're going to talk here and we should be able to figure out and get you up here.
Radio contact is made between the 2 elements. The element on the rooftop is filled in on the scenario. We have 1 fire team on the roof and another on the 2nd floor, with enemies on the 3rd floor between us. Now it's important to explain the logistical situation. On the roof, Nate and I are both on our last revive. If hit, we are out and will need to return to the FOB to reset bandages. Blake and Hunter have each taken 1 hit. For this reason, they are chosen to take point on the assault down the stairs, and they swap in fresh magazines for the coming firefight. The rooftop element was also entirely out of pyro, so sending grenades down the stairs was not an option. The fire team on the 2nd floor was in much better shape. Only Grant S. had been hit so far, and the team had pyro left despite the heavy fighting in the basement. We decided that they would initiate the assault by tossing a grenade up the stairs, and the team would move upon detonation.
Ready.
With the 2 fire teams set, Trevor throws his grenade up, and he and Grant take the stairs quickly to gain ground. Hunter and Blake begin dumping mags down the stairs at the same time to mop up and sow confusion. Trevor and Grant S are hit from further down the hall, so Chris tosses another grenade up while Grant B maintains forward security. Unfortunately, Hunter's battery died at the worst possible moment, so he backs up the stairs to allow Nate to take his place. Grant moves up the stairs, but is hit from a bad angle. At this moment, Nate rounds the corner and dispatches the last enemy.
Medic! 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 Go grab another one!
The engagement is over, but we move quickly to recover members of the squad who were hit and consolidate to the rooftop.
If you only have one bandage, get back down there. I got two. Figure out what's going on. Here, you come to me. I got you.
Hey, let's get some guys on the way. Get some lanes of fire going. Roger. Hey.
Rebel 6, this is Dagger Squad. We finally made it, all men to the roof, over.
This event was a turning point for the team. We were by no means perfect, but it set the stage for what we have become today. We left the op with lessons learned, and more importantly, it lit a fire in us to pursue serious training as a whole team and take our capability to the next level.
Good luck, boys.
Peek into the door and you'll see someone, just smoke them, come back up.
To see how our tactics have evolved since this event, check out our video on building assaults.
That's how we thin them out.
That's all for this episode. Leave a comment below to discuss the situations, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.
We probably killed 20 people each. Yeah, easy. Easy. Good.